You really don't need me to tell you that the last 12 months has been a time of struggle for most of us. Struggle in the world around us and struggle with trying to understand how we can effectively be the church. As I have traveled around our field, a lot less than what I normally would, but I have done some, as I've been in conversations with pastors and leaders within the church beyond our field, we very often hear this question asked: what will we do as the church as we try and recover from this process? And there's an emphasis on redefining ourselves, of reevaluating some foundational assumptions. Um, the question about how we continue with an online video presence as opposed to a live and in-person presence within the worship context of the church, and how do we minister to people that have found themselves disillusioned and discouraged and even very fearful in this process. Of course, I remind myself often that God's promise is that my grace is sufficient for you. And it is in that space that I would like to direct our attention today. The real question is not what we'll do in the future. The real question is who we will be. It continues to be true that the manifestation of ministry from ourselves and through our churches is only adequate to the extent that it is built upon the transformation of our lives by the love and the grace of God. The extent to which we embrace the totality of God's love for us, no matter how we feel about ourselves or our circumstances. As a result of that, there has been an ongoing conversation amongst our DSs, Jaron, Satish and myself, and I've had conversations with our NTC principal, Rob, with Richard, our SDMI coordinator, with other pastors and leaders around our district and field. And during that time, we have been thinking and talking that the most important thing that we can do is rediscover the centrality of grace to our future. As a result of that, I have been working with all of those people and thinking my way through what are some of the touchstone points that we can create over the next few months that helps move our attention in that direction. Many years ago, I met a man named Tom Ord. I love Tom. It was a time when in ministry, I was trying to think through what are the implications of the transformation of love for the way we go about being the church and doing the activities of the church. And I found many of the things that I wrestled with and many of the ideas that I was struggling to understand were reflected in things that Tom Ord was saying and doing. And so we built a good friendship around that process. A few months ago, I did an online video conferencing for my A Walk in the Garden YouTube series where I talked with Tom about that process. Tom has recently released a book that he is one of the editors of called Partnering with God. And in that conversation that I had with him, he led that conversation to a place where we were talking about ministry in terms of the context of the totality of the grace of God. And as a result of that conversation and conversations across many years, I recently invited Tom to come and share a seminar, 1 hour seminar with us that will happen on December the 4th. Tom has written many books and articles. A few of them I'm going to put around the video here. Some of the most impacting has been his books that seek to expose the quality of love that God has for us, and not the least of which has been the book God can't, which sparks some interesting conversations. Um, but Tom has graciously agreed to do that seminar for us, and so at the end of this video I'm going to put up a slide that will have the times set for all of our time zones across our field. But I would really encourage everyone to take the opportunity. It'll just be 1 hour seminar. Probably have a question time afterwards, but we'll see how that goes. But I encourage everyone to be a part of that seminar. In addition, in the new year, in February, I will be conducting a seminar. Haven't exactly worked out the time and the location, working on those things, but it'll be February 19th or 19th of February, Saturday again. And I'm hoping for us to have a seminar time, a fellowship dinner, and a worship service on that date. So lock that date away, February 19th, and I'll let you know where it will be, and the exact times that it will be. But the feature of that seminar will be considering holiness in reality. What is it like? What does it mean to live out holiness in the world in which we exist and minister? And of course, we're working towards our district assemblies. Some of that information is still in flux as we try and wrestle through what are the implications for COVID for us. But our district assemblies will also rest in this space of who we will be as we move forward into the future. I have for a long time been trying to coordinate and organise a field conference, which was set for this past June, July, and then we of course had to cancel it and reset it for the last week of June into the first week of July of next year. And to be honest, I'm not 100% certain we're going to be able to pull that off again because of the travel restrictions. And even though travel might be available at that time, knowing in advance long enough so that people can coordinate and organise their lives is going to be a problem. If we are unable to hold that event, we will certainly defer it rather than cancel it, because I think it's essential for us to gather it together as a field in the kind of events that shows us how much life we are sharing together and the commonality of our journey, and encourage each other to believe for the grace of God for our future. And so I'm very excited about that idea. Like most of the things during this time, frustrated by the extent to which it has been compromised in this process. But my invitation is to our districts and across our field to gather together for these events so that we can focus again very specifically that our future is not built on what we will do. What we will do, rather, is built upon the quality of the life of transformation that we are living. Take advantage of these times. Encourage each other to be a part of these times. And let's see what the future that God is leading us into really looks like. See you then.